We come back to Silver Cross Field here. Mark Vasko with Ryan Sienko, the catcher DH for the JackHammers. And first off, Ryan, just congratulations on a wild and woolly one last night. That had to be a whole lot of fun once that last run crossed the plate.
Well, anytime you play after about 10 or 12 or 14 or 16, it's anything that you can get, any scraps, anything you can get is good. But, you know, especially coming with a sweep right there, that's extremely important for us. And it keeps our streak, and everybody's swinging the bats. And we just didn't get that little timely hit last night that we needed. But you know, Clay came up big and drove the ball right up the middle, and that's what we needed to get out of there.
Well, it's the first couple of weeks, basically, for this franchise, but it didn't take long to get a rivalry going with that Fargo team, did it?
Well, there's some, you know, from the last couple of years with Greg and myself and with Matty last year and a couple other guys that were on, you know, different teams, Fargo's not the most liked team always in this league. You know, they play tough, but they have that little swagger that they carry with them, and we're not going to be bullied around. I think we've shown that in the first week or a week and a half now. That we're a force to be reckoned with right from the get-go. We're not an expansion team at all. We have a lot of experienced players, and we're going to play everybody tough. And when you come into our house, we want to make it a rough atmosphere for you, you know. And that goes from right down from the music that they're playing to the dirt on the ground. So I think if we just keep up that kind of attitude where we're not going to lose at home, and especially if it's close, you know, I think that we have a good chance of making a lot of noise in our league here.
You know, and I mentioned to Greg Hibbard too that in just the first few games we've had here, this was probably the best atmosphere was last night. A lot of people stuck around to the end. That was the most noise I've heard here too.
Oh, that was, you know, and I'd like to say it was for us for watching the game, but it could have been for the fireworks. But it didn't matter. The fact was it was almost 1 o'clock or 12:30. And there was still a lot of people here, and that, you know, it shows us a lot that the community cares, and I know that there's some things going on with people unhappy and whatever, but you know, we're always going to be here, and the stadium's always going to be here, and you know, I think that if people give us a chance, that they're going to see that we put a good quality show on every night, and you know, with this stadium, you can't go wrong.
No doubt about it. Now you're off to a great start. I know you put in a whole lot of work with Matt, but boy, it's got to be, you know, really gratifying that it's right now it's paying off.
Yeah, you know, Matty and I did a ton of work all off season. I went out to San Diego in January and I moved out there, and you know, I owe everything that I've done so far this year to him. He's a great person, and he's a really good friend to me, and you know, all the hard work, it's really nice to see it paying off. And, you know, I went into a slump last night, almost an extended hitting slump. But, you know, I think that if we just come out and swing the bats like we did last night, and if I swing the bat like I did last night, I'm going to be fine. And our team's going to be fine. I think we should hopefully we can win 2 out of 3 again off of Winnipeg.
So what's it like for a guy sandwiched in the order between 2 major leaguers in Beeman and Wilkins?
Well, I just have the fortune of being right-handed in that trio right there. It's just nice that we have a good mix of righties and lefties in our lineup, and if those 2 are right-handed, I'm hitting somewhere farther down the lineup. It just works out that way, and I'm swinging the bat okay. So, you know, of course it's nice. You know, I've learned a lot from Trey and Rick, and as long with, you know, Matt and Hibby, I've just been really fortunate to learn from guys who've been in the elite level. And it's starting to show. You know, I'm playing with a little different attitude that I have in the past. This is my 6th year, but you know, I'm starting to learn the higher level stuff from these guys, and it's personally I'm really happy about it, and I think that throughout the long haul of the season, everybody's going to see that from me as well.
Again, talking to Ryan Sienko here, and so for people who didn't see you, you know, prior to this year with Joliet, what were the things that you have been working on the most?
Wow. It starts from body composition on. You know, I put on a lot of weight this off season. When I was with Matt, we lifted weights and did conditioning, and we did a lot of hitting stuff. And I'm starting to learn to hit the ball to the right side. And you know, you saw the other night I hit a home run to right field, and I've hit one to center. And you know, I'm spraying the ball around. I'm hitting the balls to the gaps, and that's something where I would just use a lot of left field. And I mean, I'm going to strike out. That's part of what I do. I'm getting paid right now to drive the ball, so they don't mind if I'm Rob Deere, you know, off and on. Matty jokes with me about that sometimes. He started calling me Rob Deere, but you know, I don't really mind. Striking out's not a big deal. I'd like to put the ball in play a little more, but I think that with my size and where I'm at in the order, I need to drive the ball and give us a chance. A couple times last night I just missed balls. I could have ended the game in a couple different situations. Just didn't happen, but that's what I get paid to do, so I'm not complaining.
I came out here and saw the preseason game with Oakton here, and you hit a ball that almost went out to Clinton Street in that game. I said, all right, I've heard a lot about him, and all right, I'm starting to believe. And when you make contact, you've been hitting the ball hard.
Yeah, that's what I'm really focusing on. I don't try to hit it far. I'm strong enough to where I'm just fortunate enough to where if I hit it right, it's going to go. So, and I like to see those flags blown out today. That's a nice sign for me. Normally they've been driving in on us, so hopefully we can just get into the groove and get some good pitches. We faced Rayner before when we were up there, and we all hit them pretty well. So, I'm confident that we're going to come with a W again today.
Now, of course, we talked about your work with Matt, but certainly it's got to be nice to have Rick Wilkins here too, and because defense is certainly a very important part of your job too. If you're going to move up the ladder, and what he's just so solid.
Yeah, Rick is just a professional catcher, and that shows. Everything he does back there you could just put it in a textbook.
Last thing for you again, talking to Ryan Sienko. But this team, as it's made up, even in the 2-week preseason, my guess is the way he put it together, you had a good feeling you had a chance to win this whole thing.
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to be in the process when I was out in San Diego of watching Matt put all the pieces of the puzzle together. And I don't see another lineup in this league that scares me, 1 through 7, 1 through 8, and this park is perfect for the way that we play the game. And you hit the ball, we've got guys that are quick enough to run the ball down the gaps. And, he put together a team that just from the get-go, he put confidence in us, and we developed a little cohesion so early that this team is gelled so quickly. And it's amazing when you just throw 20 guys together that we can all become really good friends and have each other's backs and, pat each other on the backside when you need it. I think we do have a good chance. I don't see really any team in this league with the consistency that we're going to have.
Hey, listen, thanks so much for taking some time. Congratulations on a great start. Go get them the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Ryan Sienko here on 1340 WJOL. We'll come back in our broadcast here from Silver Cross Field, getting you ready for the ball game tonight. 6:45, the official pregame show. 7:05 first pitch. Well, Matt, this one, obviously a great starting pitching performance, but I guess one of those where you can't necessarily have them go 9 innings right now.
Well, none of the guys are ready to go 9 innings yet. We gotta keep our guys under 100 pitches. But Ricky was cruising along there for a while, and he made a lot of adjustments from the last start. Or not last start, but the last outing. And Greg worked with him a lot, and he just really made an improvement. I'm very impressed with just his ability to make adjustments, and I'm real happy with how he did.
And again, it's just a situation where you used 7 pitchers yesterday, so you didn't necessarily have what you wanted in the bullpen for tonight.
Well, that was a situation like Roger Kalinowski, for example. It's the first real jam he had to try to work out of, and he only gave up 2 runs there. But like I said, it is a learning experience for a lot of these young guys, and you have to throw them in the fire every once in a while. But he didn't do too bad. He came in, and we have some things we got to work on. But overall, I'm impressed.
It seems like there's still some men left on base in key situations that are coming back to haunt you.
Fortunately, when you have a good hitting team, you're going to leave more men on base simply because you're going to get more hits and you're going to leave more men on base. So that's not always, an indicator of whether you're hitting or not. Sometimes it's an indicator that you are hitting good because you are leaving a lot of guys on. But of course, we want to, we don't want to leave anybody on base. We want to get everybody in. And as the weather starts heating up, I think our hitters will start heating up. We're winning games and playing good, close ball games. Not firing on all 8 cylinders really. Our guys aren't even hot yet, but we're getting timely hitting, and we believe we can win. We have good chemistry, and that's we come into a game and we expect to win the game. So we know we have a good shot at winning everything. So.
Well, and again, after you'd won, 5 in a row, I guess you certainly can't get one loss get you down.
No, there's such just a good atmosphere in the clubhouse, good atmosphere with the guys. They know what they got to do to get ready for the game and to prepare themselves, and there's a nice, relaxed, loose atmosphere. But when you have that, you have to have a whole bunch of guys who know what they got to do to get ready for the game, and they do, and they are learning that. And that's one thing I wanted to bring out in them, because as they go on and further their career, they need to know that on their own. If they don't, then they won't succeed.
Well, I think that's why maybe last night's win was important, because it's one thing to play 17, it's another to battle back and win it.
Well, last night the guys were getting on me because I said, hey, even if it takes 20 innings, we're going to win this game. And they said, you could have said 12.
Hey, as long as it works. All right, Matt, thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mark.
All right, Matt Nokes. And talking to Greg Hibbard here on the post game. And Greg, I wanted to get you to talk about the pitching today because I'll tell you what, even though there was a 7-run second inning, I don't think Rich pitched all that badly.
No, I don't think he pitched that bad. Anyway, just a couple bad things happened in the inning, you know, the catcher's interference and then a blue pit here, and then all of a sudden the hitters felt like they had some confidence against him. I talked to him after the inning and just mentioned that you need to start elevating your fastball a little bit and moving their eyes once in a while because, you know, they know Rich is a control pitcher and he's going to live in the zone a lot. So he had lived, you know, in that second inning, he didn't throw one ball above the mid-thigh. So I'm not saying, you know, you're trying to knock guys down. You just have to elevate their eyes once in a while to make the strike zone bigger.
Because really, they didn't hit the ball solid against him. There were so many bloops and dinks in that game.
Yeah, you know, after that he broke bats and he had check swings for strike 3, and you know, he started elevating it a little bit, throwing in a lot more. He pitched in the next 3 innings, and you know, I think it's a learning experience. He actually learned something today about, you know, teams that start feeling comfortable against you. You got to get your a little bit of indecision in the hitter and making the strike zone bigger instead of them looking in a 1-foot zone in the bottom.
Because the bottom of the order kept getting on base.
Yeah, you know, and they're not that good at hitters. That's the thing, and you know, and against Rich Hyde, that's kind of embarrassing for him that you know, guys were taking that good of swings off of him for his location to be like it can be.
And for Rafael Gross, what was working for him today? Because he was certainly keeping us off balance.
Well, you know, once you get 7-run lead, it's kind of easy to pitch. He just started going after guys and getting ahead, and we were swinging at first pitches and popping them up. And I think we need to be a little more patient once in a while as an offensive team. Make the pitcher pitch more. Make him actually dig a hole once in a while. I mean, we swung in a lot of first pitch outs.
So what are you going to tell the guys today after this one?
Well, one of the other things I've seen in the last 2 games is we were a little down. Our team is a little down, and we're not the aggressor. We're kind of the one sitting back and waiting for our pitchers just to shut them out. Our offense needs to pick it up a little bit and get into the game a little more tomorrow, and we're going to have a little conversation tomorrow before the game and talk about that.
All right, Greg, thanks a lot. Go get him tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, Greg Hibbard. All right, Matt, well, you wrap up the homestand with a victory, which avoids a sweep, sort of ends everything on a good note.
We needed that going on a long road trip coming up here. We needed to end on a win. It's a nice hot day, and the guys are feeling a little bit better and a little bit more rested, but the extra day off is going to help.
And Mazone came out, his usual good outing.
Mazone has been really sure and steady for us. He's been throwing the ball well and giving us a lot of innings, and very consistent around the plate and throwing the ball where he's supposed to.
And then, of course, you had a little get-together in the 3rd inning there, and I guess you guys are just sick and tired of getting hit by pitches.
Well, unfortunately, that's just a part of the game, you know. You have to, you know, I mean, pitching inside is part of the game, and they know it both sides, but they got, you know, you got to be careful because when you go inside, you know, if you're going to miss, it's a lot better to miss down. And our guys have been getting hit a lot, and it had to stop.
Well, and their guy Sachs, I mean, if he just walks to first base, none of that happens. I mean, let's face it, one of ours got hit, so one of theirs is going to get hit. That's baseball.
Well, it's not one of ours. About 10 of our guys have been hit, and it's been an ongoing thing. It hasn't stopped, and you know, we've been respectful for a long time, but at that point, you know, something's got to stop.
Indeed. Of course, it was also nice to know that after a couple days off, you had Hammons out of the pen if you needed him.
You know, having Matt Hammons come in the game always helps. I mean, he just throws so good, and you know, he dominates the game, and that's something that we need. You know, so we're going to be very careful with Matt and make sure he's healthy and pitch him when he is, and just let him go right at guys, because when he does, it's really fun to watch.
And Berkey broke out today.
Well, you know, he's been getting his mechanics down and been a little not worried, but just been overconscious of his mechanics, and he's just been doing well. So we just finally, you know, had a little talk and, you know, about him just loosening up a little bit and letting it go and releasing a little bit, and he did. He made the adjustment, and he's swinging the bat good.
And again, just final comments on a 4-2 homestand.
You know, you got to be happy with the sweep against Fargo. I thought we could have won one of those games against Winnipeg, but you know, it didn't work out that way. But we played good. We played good fundamental baseball against Winnipeg, even though we lost 2. But I just felt like, you know, the way we were playing, we could have swept them too. But you know, obviously we didn't, and that's how this game goes.
All right, thanks a lot. We'll get him on the road.
Thank you.
All right, Matt Nokes. Well, Rick, congratulations. That one had to feel good.
Yeah, I needed that one. I figured out during that at bat I'm struggling a little bit with getting my front foot down. You can't hit until you get your front foot down, and Tony Gwynn, you heard him talk about that all the time, but it's something I haven't been doing. So I just got my front foot down on time, put up a good swing on the ball.
And I don't care about lefty-lefty. I'm thinking, all right, they're walking somebody to get to you. That's a mistake.
You know what? They actually did me a favor, because if they look at the stats in this league, I'm hitting left-handed pitching pretty well up to this point in the season. And for some reason, I'm not doing okay against right-handed pitching, but I'm not driving the ball like I should against right-handed pitching and having consistent at bat. So for me tonight, it kind of got me back into a good rhythm, and saw the ball a lot better off that lefty than I had all night against their righties. So
Well, and even for this team, it had to feel good to come back and get a win.
Yeah, we needed that one. We played kind of a sloppy game yesterday. We didn't look like we looked like we were fatigued, and we weren't really mentally in the game. We made a lot of mental mistakes, and we made some more mental mistakes tonight. And we're too experienced of a club to make those kind of mistakes. We've got to start eliminating those and doing some better things out there on the field, so we can start playing up to our potential.
And again, obviously, anytime you get a late lead, it's nice to have number 32 walking the mound too.
Oh, he's something else. I tell you what, it's nice that we've got that guy down there waiting to come in the game and close the door. I've got a ton of confidence in him, and when you see him walking in to toe the slab, you feel like the game's over, and then that's a good feeling. So he's doing a terrific job.
And you got to be happy for Sienko too, because obviously, you guys are pretty much tag teaming, and it's got to feel like he's under your wing a bit.
Yeah, he is, and he's really coming along. And we lost him for 2 or 3 days on the road trip. He's been getting hit a lot, and I think it took him a day yesterday just to kind of get back into it, and a couple at bats today to get back into it. And then he hit the home run. I think he's ready to start rolling offensively a little bit. So we certainly need his bat in the lineup to start thumping the ball around the ballpark a little bit.
Great, thanks a lot. Congratulations. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, Rick Wilkins. Well, Rich, congratulations. You threw a great ball game today.
Thank you. We got a little scary there in the end, but we came away with a win. That's what counts.
Well, and obviously you had it going. You were throwing a whole lot of ground balls today. Matter of fact, their only hits were just basically little squeakers all day.
Well, I tried to keep the ball down and get ahead of hitters, and they're swinging it and getting ahead. By me getting ahead, I could keep the ball down and make them hit it in the ground, and we fielded it. So at least through the first 8, and then we had problems, but hey, that happens. So we got through it.
Well, and I give you credit because, to be honest with you, I wasn't necessarily sure from one inning to the next what a strike was going to be and what it wasn't going to be.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think that we moved the ball in and out, and we mix it up a little bit. And it's hard. I had pitched with these guys my last start, and so seeing them all again, they know I'm going to be around the plate, and I was able to get ahead, like I said, and we got it done.
What's the other thing? You turned a couple double plays early, too.
Yeah, we don't turn a double play in the mix in there, then the ball game could be indifferent. So we play good defense, and when you get a ground ball, that's a big, it's a pitcher's best friend. So
you had a low pitch count. Were you disappointed you couldn't finish?
Well, you always want to finish. You want to get to 9th, and although in that situation we had a closer, we got guys in the bullpen that can come in and get it done, and they did tonight. It was just things kind of fell apart there, but we regrouped and got it out of it.
I was going to say, even though it wasn't the perfect 9th inning for you, I mean, really, you have to feel pretty confident you can leave it in Hammons' hands.
Yeah, he's done the job. He comes in throwing hard. He's going to be usually around the plate, and you turn it over to him, and it's pretty much over with. So he's done his job, and he did his job tonight. We're lucky to get out of there.
And it was nice to see Mac Pinto come through with some RBIs today.
Exactly. I think him making some good plays in the field and getting a lot of ground balls, and he came up swinging the bat, and hopefully Mac will bust out and put together 2-3 hit games here and there and get a little confidence going.
And it's got to be good to start this homestand with a couple wins, too.
Yeah, they took 3 from us in Sioux City, so we owe them a little bit, and getting these first 2 are big. So we got 2 more to go, and tomorrow we got a good pitcher on Bryan coming out, and he should do a good job for us.
Congratulations, great job.
Thank you.
All right, Rich Hyde. Well, Coach, that was a tough one to let go.
That was a tough loss. After scoring the run in the bottom of the 8th, we thought with Hammons on the mound, it's pretty much shut the door. It has been all year.
But I tell you what, Orga, for a guy who was fighting for maybe that 5th spot, he was outstanding.
Unbelievable. Through 6 innings, no-run baseball. I think he held them to 2 hits, if I'm not mistaken. Really did a heck of a job today.
He had 1 ground ball out. Everything else, they were out in their front foot on those off speeds, popping everything up.
Yeah, they sure were. He was getting in high enough, just enough, where they're coming underneath it and hitting things straight up in the air.
And then Rolfing, too. You certainly can't complain about the pitching.
Well, Rolfing is so good. He throws the ball at such a down angle, and he's got a splitter. It's virtually unhittable. So he gets ahead with the fastball, comes back with that. You can't pick that pitch up.
And I guess the thing about Hammons is I guess you can't have it every night.
No, you can't. And, I mean, he threw some good fastballs there, and all of a sudden the guy stuck the bat out and ball fell in. That's going to happen. When you throw that hard, all they have to do is make contact.
No doubt about it. Tony activated today, and tell you what, even though it didn't work out today, it's good to see that big guy in the lineup.
Oh, it sure is. When you got him sitting at number 3, and he said he felt pretty comfortable up there, and so he's anxious to go again tomorrow.
Looking forward to that, certainly. And what's it going to take to get this team hitting? I just keep looking on paper and saying, when is it going to break out?
Well, we're saying the same thing. We thought with a couple lineup changes today, that might happen, and it very well could happen. We could explode this weekend against Gary.
Sad to see Clay go, but I guess you just couldn't wait for both middle infielders to start hitting.
No, that's exactly right. And when we had Tony sitting there, who's been killing the ball in batting practice, just dying for a chance to hit, it was a great opportunity. And it's going to be sad to lose Clay. He was a very class guy, and he handled the whole thing with absolute class. So we're going to miss him. He's a good guy.
Well, again, the beautiful thing about baseball, there's always tomorrow.
Yeah, sure is. We'll take him tomorrow.
Mike, thanks a lot.
Thanks.
All right, Mike Pinto. Tony, congratulations. That game, much more like it in every phase for the ball club.
Yeah, I mean, things clicked on all cylinders today. We got timely hitting, great pitching from Ricky. That's the way you win ball games.
Nice job for you, too. You crushed a double, and you knocked in a couple of runs today.
Well, it's coming. Still not real comfortable in there, but it's coming. I mean, with no spring training and trying to get my feet wet, in the heat of the moment, so it'll come.
It's got to be tough for you because the pressure's been on everybody, and so you're trying to help out, and you're still trying to get in a groove.
Yeah, basically, and once I get the groove, I think we'll all be all right. Hitting is contagious, and if one guy gets going real good, then usually the rest of the team kind of follows suit. So I hope that's what I'll become, as maybe a spark plug or something. Well, and we got the bottom of the order got hits and RBIs and 2 out hits today, and 12 total. And that's exactly what we need. That's exactly what we need as a team. We need from 1 through 9 to come through. And tonight we got that. What have you been telling the guys? Obviously, they've been frustrated, I'm sure, and it's got to be hard for maybe to tell them to relax. Well, that's part of baseball, and that's what I tell them. Great teams or bad teams go through slumps, where they're just not red hot right away. And it takes, some teams a little longer to get going than other teams. And, too bad for us. It just, it's taking us a little time to get going, but now I think we'll get going and you'll see some good things. And I really think that Trey Beeman's the key to this lineup, and it seems like he's starting to find it too. Exactly. He'll start seeing some pitches now, and hopefully that'll spark us. So overall, even defensively, I mean, they double plays today, and obviously Ricky Lewis again outstanding. Exactly, and that's what we need to win ball games. We need to play fundamentals, catch and throw baseball, and get good pitching, and that's what we got today. And we ended up with a ball game under our belt. And I would imagine this is one you can try to build on too. Oh yeah, we're going to build on this one. There's going to be some formal things issued in the clubhouse, and we'll see who answers. All right, thanks a lot. Best of luck. Thanks. Thank you. All right, Tony Chance. All right, Derek. Well, hey, welcome to the Joliet JackHammers. Nice win today.
It feels good to be somewhere where I'm wanted, and to be able to come in here on a night like tonight after just playing against these guys last night, and get a few hits to help us get a win. It's really big. So how strange was this to switch teams mid-series? It was a little bit different. I've never done it before. I don't think many people have. I played with these guys all year long, and now I got to play against them. There's a bunch of good guys over there, but this is a place where I want to be, and this is a place where a lot of wins are going to happen. So third team in a very short time. That's got to be weird. Yeah, it was funny. Last year I was talking to somebody about how I've never really been on just one team, and then next thing you know, 3 teams later I'm here. But this is where I want to be.
And it's got to be nice. I mean, basically, it's home for you. So
Yeah, it is home. You know, it's only 15 minutes away. It's nice to be able to play at home. So, you know, I'm happy about it.
So obviously, you know, I think Matt's been trying to get you for pretty much since he got the job. So he finally got it done.
Yeah, you know, like I said, it's better late than never. You know, I wanted to be here since the beginning. You know, when I told Hal and Ear up in Winnipeg that I wanted to come home and play, this is where I wanted to play. So I'm finally here.
So what do you think of this team?
It's awesome. You know, everything they do here is positive. You know, everything they talk about is positive. It's great. It's totally different from when I just came from.
So now you've got a 10-hour bus ride to think about your brand new team, but you know, again, second, you know, number 2 in the order now, center field. All that all right with you?
Yeah, you know, last year I played center field when I went to Winnipeg, and the 2 years before that I played center field. It's probably going to take me a few games to get used to it, just because it's different reads on balls and everything like that. But I don't think I should have a problem with it.
So obviously, you came in as a 300 hitter, and I would imagine the goal now is just to get on base as many times as you can for the guys behind you.
Yeah, I mean, you figure you got, you know, Wilkins, Sienko, and Chance hitting behind me. You know, me and Beeman it's our job to get on and for them to drive us in. So I just want to get on and do what I can to help the team.
Hey, great start. Keep it up.
Thank you very much.
All right. Derek Kopacz. Brian, congratulations. Outstanding. That's got to feel great.
Yeah, anytime you can get a win, and especially in that fashion, obviously maybe it'll help us get on a roll. And anything I can do, man. Anything I can do.
Well, 2 homers in one day. That's not a bad day's work after a 10-hour bus ride.
Man, I just try to hit the ball hard, and I've just been lucky and fortunate enough strong enough to get the ball out of here, you know. So.
Little curtain call there. Nice job. I don't know what it was, but even Brian and I both in the booth had a feeling we were going to come back today and win this thing.
Christ, anytime you can do that, man, I don't know. I've never done that my whole life. And it's just a slider, just up, and I just got enough of it. Shoot.
So did you feel good today? I don't know.
No, I feel like crap today. I'm so tired from that bus ride. I was just picking up Wilkie because he's got a little more time than me. I figured I'd take the catching duties today. So anytime I can do that, I'll do it.
And a pretty good combined outing by pretty much the entire bullpen today to keep you in it long enough to do this.
Yeah, we threw the whole staff together today, and you know, they took care of business and kept us in the ball game, and that's all that we can ask. And they've done a hell of a job all year long, and they keep us in every single ball game. We had a little struggle, but we got out of it, and you know, we just got to win.
Now you just were also named today as the player of the week for last week, so congrats on that too. So what's it been for you to get it together here in the last week or so?
Mark, if I knew, I'd tell you. I just been working a lot with Nokes, and I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. It just it's fun. It's fun. I'm having a great time.
Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. So how many 2 homer days have you had in your career?
Not too many. That might be the third. And 2 of them have been the last couple days.
Nice job. Get some rest. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Ryan Sienko. It wasn't a thing of beauty, but it's a W.
Yeah, you know, this wasn't one of Ricky's better nights, but fortunately he kept us in the game and only gave up 3 runs. And Watson came in a tough situation with 1 out, first and second, and only giving up the 1 run after the base hit and get the bases loaded. So he did a good job at getting out of that situation. And then the timely hitting with Tony Chance with the grand slam. I mean, that's something we've been looking for all year. You know, that's kind of a nail in the coffin when you can get that many runs on a swing of the bat and kind of bring you back in the game. And getting to go to Brent Franklin and Hammons to shut it down is a really good feeling.
Ricky was sort of flirting with disaster, and I wasn't sure how many innings he was going to make there for a while.
Yeah, his feel wasn't real good tonight. He said he didn't feel real comfortable. I don't know if the jersey on him didn't feel good. It was a little big, but something about his feel just wasn't there tonight. And he didn't want to come out of the game when we took him out, but we kind of convinced him that his feel's not there. Tony Mitchell's coming up. I just wanted to give Tony Mitchell a different look in Watson.
That's what I said even up in the booth. I said, well, you know what, sometimes you just need a new arm in there just to sort of change the direction of the ball game.
Yeah, you know, and especially in that situation, he's got to come in and throw strikes too. And I think that's something that we saw him, he lacks once in a while. And Watson is, he came in the 8th inning and he hit the first guy, and then that's something that we've got to work on with his control. We can't have that with a 3-run lead hitting the leadoff guy.
Boy, and then Ricky needs to work on those plays at first base too.
Yeah, the plays at first, we talked about it. The one that he dropped the first time, he took his eyes off of it and looked for the bag. And I bet I've said it 50 times that you got to catch the ball before you can touch the base. And then the next one on bias, he watched the ball in his glove, looked for the bag, and Bias was already by him. So, and I told Ricky, I said, against any other player in the league, that's an out because Bias is the fastest guy in the baseball, probably, even counting the big leagues. He gets down the line pretty good.
So it's got to feel good, though, after a sluggish start today to come back and win this thing. I would imagine that's going to make everybody feel good when this day is done.
I hope so, because, I mean, I'm telling you, after the All-Star break, we're going to have to play some of our best baseball if we're going to go to the playoffs by playing Winnipeg and Fargo on the first 8 games of after the All-Star break. So we've got to get a lead as much as we can to get to those 8 games and really have our game at the top of its level when we get to those 8 games. So hopefully we can do that.
And again, this is a team you got to beat too, especially after their first half. I don't care what their record is now; they're a pretty good team.
I think so. You know, they lost 2 of their starters, and I think that hurt their rotation a little bit. And that's why they're probably struggling right now. But you know, they're still not a team that you can just fold up and think you're going to throw your glove out there and get them out. So they're capable of scoring some runs every game, and we're going to have to really concentrate on getting ahead of the hitters on the first 3 pitches and really making the hitters be more aggressive early in the count instead of falling behind a lot like we did tonight.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thanks.
All right, Greg Hibbard. Well, Matt, I tell you what, ball game today, you guys played well in all phases.
Did I not say hitting was contagious? Now the bottom of the order is, is competing with the top of the order. It's a toss-up. You know, guys are scoring runs at all places, and guys are swinging the bat all through the lineup. There's not a place in the lineup this week.
Bryan Sprout had been scuffling for a while, and then he got on the last couple times last night, and he must have found it.
You know, he's been swinging the bat a lot better in batting practice, and it's, of course, it's showing up in the game. I'm proud of him.
And he's a guy now who actually, among the current players, leads the team in homers. He's a leadoff man.
Yes, he is. He's not your typical leadoff guy. He's got some power, and he has some things he's got to learn still, too, about being a leadoff guy. But in this lineup, he's pretty much the fastest guy on our team, so he's got to lead off.
Well, and again, speaking of homers, DeYoung seems to be coming around, too.
He's been swinging the bat. He's been working on a few things. He's been making some adjustments in his swing, and he's been really making some improvements there, too. He was disconnecting at some point in his swing, and now he's all one piece and swinging the bat good.
And Rich Hyde, his usual dependable, outstanding self.
Rich Hyde, I just wish we could score a few runs early for him all the time, because I know with run support he would win almost every game. He went through a stretch, and has been all year, of where we wouldn't get any runs for him, and we tended to get a lot more runs for some of the other players, but it was nice to give him a few runs early.
And of course the key against this team, keep those first 2 guys off the bases, and he did that.
Yes, he did. He threw a lot of strikes, and he made the out pitches when he had to, but for the most part he just let him hit the ball and hit him right at people.
And again, this has got to, this sets up the homestand obviously well. You're 4-2, and you've got Gary coming up.
Well, we haven't lost a series in a while, and that's been, critical for us. And, hopefully we can take 3 out of 4 from Gary.
Getting back to Hyde for a second before I forget, how is he not an all-star?
Rich Hyde every year is an all-star in this league. He just he didn't have the numbers that maybe some of the other players had, but as far as wins and losses. But that came right back to, us not giving him run support. He had so many no decisions because we didn't score many runs, and losses for that matter, because we didn't score many runs. It wasn't like he got blown out in any of those games. He lost some close games and some games where he didn't really even give up very many runs.
Another key today, you guys played great defense.
Yeah, I feel very good about the defense. I have all year. We've had our lapses in concentration, but for the most part, it hasn't been for lack of talent. We have a good infield and outfield, and the guys are learning how to go about their business the right way.
All right, best luck tomorrow.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Matt Nokes. Well, congratulations, great outing today.
Thank you very much. It was kind of a battle. The first 6 innings, I really didn't have what I would consider my good stuff. My fastball was a little off. I didn't have my normal good command of it, and I looked on the charts and I was falling behind a lot of hitters. I came in the 6th and I talked to Hibby, and he said one thing to me. He said, just drive your back shoulder towards the plate. And I went out there in the 7th and 8th, and it was a huge difference. My miles per hour probably went up 2 or 3, and my command was there. And I started actually blowing fastballs by guys.
So I was going to ask you what changed, because obviously in the first couple innings you were getting ahead, and then the middle couple you were falling behind and getting in trouble.
Yeah, I kind of, the 5th inning when we had the bases loaded, I tend to get like in a what you call like a rush mode, and everything just keeps going really quickly, and I felt like my front side was pulling out a little bit, and that's when my slider was getting a little sloppy, and my fastball was losing the control. So I came into Hibby and I said, what am I doing? My stuff's just not there tonight. And he said, don't worry about your front side, don't worry about anything else, just drive your back shoulder towards the plate. And I went out there the last 2 innings, that's all I thought about, and it was, a world of difference. Thanks for him.
Because I wasn't sure with that pitch count if you were going to make it through 8.
Yeah, I didn't realize I had thrown that many pitches, Going out in the 7th inning, I actually felt better. So my arm wasn't, I wasn't using my arm as much just with that thought process. So, unfortunately that 1 inning I ended up throwing like 35 pitches, or I probably would have, gone out there in the 9th, but I was up to 127 pitches. So it's just too much for a 4-man rotation right now.
Congratulations on the All-Star game.
Oh, thank you very much. I heard about it last night. Actually, my dad thought that I already knew, but he told me. But, there's no one better to hear it than from my dad anyway. So,
although with this pitching staff, I'm surprised you're the only one.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised too. Rich Hyde's had a great year. If you look on paper, our numbers are identical. He just hasn't, the first couple of starts that he had, he just didn't have the run support. And I think that's where wins and losses are kind of deceiving how a pitcher's doing. You can go out there and give up 2 and get a loss, and it's not really your fault, so to say. But it's an honor, and I'll take it with a smile. It's I've worked hard for it, but like I said, there's a lot of pitchers on this team that are deserving of it that just didn't go.
This was a big win for the ball club because you guys played well in all phases.
Yeah, it was. We finally started swinging the ball. Even the outs that we made tonight were hit hard. So it's good to see. With Ryan gone, it takes a lot of pop out of our lineup. But I think with the guys we have, we can start to put together the singles and the doubles, and we'll start scoring runs. And our pitching staff's going to stay strong. So if we can do what we did tonight, we shouldn't have a problem taking the second half.
Congratulations, great job.
Thank you very much.
All right, Brian Mazone. All right, Brian, well, since Scott gets to talk to you every Monday morning, I figured this time we'd wait for the afternoon when you're maybe a little bit more awake, especially after last Monday morning when that was also after that crazy weekend with the bus ride that would never end. So what happened? The bus broke down for where and for how long, and what happened?
It was outside of the Wisconsin Dells on Saturday afternoon at about 1:15. There was low air in the front brakes of the bus. So with that, the quick explanation after I asked, what happened? Alf is our bus driver. He said, well, we could keep on driving, but if we kept driving, then there's friction in the brakes. It could cause a fire, and it could be a lot worse than what we're in right now. So kudos to the bus driver for pulling over and making sure that a mechanic and a new bus would eventually come, and that was, 5 hours later after that.
You were on the side of the road for 5 hours?
Well, for about a couple hours worth, and then 2 or 3 hours worth we were on the side of the road, and then finally someone said, all right, I'm hungry. And fortunately we were a half mile from the nearest exit, so it was funny maybe watching an entire baseball team walk down the shoulder, and we headed to a viaduct, and we climbed down a viaduct and walked over to a restaurant and had dinner, and by the time we were finished eating, and we had the worst service of our lives, and I'll leave out the name of the restaurant chain for this one, and we went back to the bus, and by the time we got back, all of a sudden there was another bus that was coming up to pick us up, and so we thought, wow, this is perfect timing, but not a perfect ending for the rest of the day.
When I heard that story originally, the first thing I thought was Matt Nokes and Rick Wilkins, the guys who've been in the bigs before and taken the private planes and saying that the best hotels, they just must have been thinking to themselves, what are we doing here?
Well, the funny thing is that Matt Nokes was the only player on that team, or the only coach that was there, and as far as the veterans are concerned, it was just he and Rich Hyde, because Rick Wilkins flew on this trip. He paid his own way to get up there. Mike Pinto flew, our bench coach. Tony Chance drove up with his wife and their child. Our hitting coach and one of the players, and also Greg Hibbard drove with his wife up there, so they weren't on the bus. Plus Derek Kopacz drove up with his wife and his son, and Kevin Orga missed the bus, so he had to drive anyway on up there, and so half the team was already not there. And it was only about 18 of us or so, 17 or 18 of us. But the thing is for Matt that he had his 3 daughters here in town as well, and they were on the bus with us. So maybe they made up for they kept spirits, quite free-spirited and a lot of fun on the bus, that's to say the very least, because they're 2 11-year-olds and 1 13-year-old. So it was pretty funny to have them along for the ride.
Oh, man. All right. So tell you what, this team's playing awfully well right now. Thank goodness for the second half. It seems like it's done its trick.
It has. Despite that 16-0 loss on Saturday, ever since then, the team's been on a roll. Matt's been talking all along about hitting, and amazingly enough, I mean, now this is what he's been talking about. This team is pounding the ball. We had 16 hits against Schaumburg on Monday night, which was second most this season in a ball game, and the team's on a 3-game winning streak, and they're hitting the ball well. They continue to pitch very well, and defense has been outstanding. So, it's just been a lot of fun, and they're having a great time. And I keep asking you guys whether or not the offensive burden of losing Ryan Sienko has been a tough one to carry. And really, everyone realizes that they have to step up. And the great thing is that 1 through 9 is stepping up.
I played one of the highlights from the last game yesterday, and it was music to my ears because it was the Rick Wilkins RBI double where Chance scores, Nokes scores, and Wilkins pulls into second. I'm like, all 3 big names, and it was like good to hear them all in a couple of run-scoring situations. Oh,
it was great. Rick Wilkins, I think it's the majority of his RBI hits when he has 2 strikes on him. I think every time in this road trip he came through with 2 strikes on him, and Tony Chance had a home run 2 days ago rather against Schaumburg, and Nokes. It's just fun. It's always fun to watch him play because it's the easiest of swings and the smoothest of looking hits, and he just glides around the bases like he is a true 38-year-old on the baseball team.
Now we've got a 10-game homestand starting tonight. I'm still trying to figure out how we got a Sunday off. Who scheduled a Sunday off, which is usually a nice day to draw crowds, and we're going to be sitting at home? That's a weird day to take off.
Oh, can't even figure it out. Can't even figure it out. It's Sundays at a ballpark. I mean, normally a day game for us, but it's odd that that Sunday is off. But an action-packed homestand nonetheless. 3 games versus the who do we got here? The Lincoln Salt Dogs, followed by 3 versus Sioux City, and then 4 versus Gary. Those are 3 opponents in the division. So from a baseball side, it's going to be a very interesting, tough homestand.
And some neat things going on for that homestand. You're having a Halloween night this week?
Yeah, actually on the 30th of July, which is coming up, on Tuesday or Wednesday? Okay. The 30th of July, it's going to be Halloween at the ballpark. And what that means is that the JackHammers players will be wearing orange jerseys that night, special jerseys, and they will be auctioned off to the fans at the end of the game. So all of the jerseys, except for 2 will be raffled off, and the others will be auctioned off to the fans. And we encourage the fans come in costume, just as if it's Halloween. We'll have candy. We'll have different special promotions that go on in between innings that'll be absolutely hilarious. And it'll be just like Halloween, but not October, but in July. And then even before that, coming up on Monday night, it's going to be pay for what you feel the game is worth night. You could still buy tickets for that night. That way you know that you're guaranteed a seat or whatever seat you want, and you already put in your designated money for that game. Otherwise, you come to the ballpark, we'll hand you a ticket for a specific seat or a general admission area, whichever you prefer, and you can go in and let's say Brian Mazone, who will be the starting pitcher that night, and I couldn't think of a better pitcher to go on that night.
Good idea, by the way.
The all-star, he goes out, let's say he strikes out the side in the 4th inning. Well, gosh, if you're a fan there, you could say, that's worth $10 to me or $100 to me, and the ushers will come on down the aisles, and they'll have buckets, and you can put the money in the buckets. So it's just a way in this day and age with Major League Baseball talking strike and other teams, the fire sales are going on now because the trading deadline is coming up. People can say, you know what? Maybe this game is worth nothing to me, and I won't pay anything. Or it's a situation where, you know what, this is great. I mean, I could still shell out $50, and it's still not as much as what I would have paid for my family of 5 to go on out to a big league game. So a really unique ball game. 2 games, 2 promotions coming up right there.
So a week and a half, we're going to be home, and then it's the strange situations where you're gone for basically 2 weeks because there's a road trip and then All-Star game.
Yeah, the All-Star week, it's coming up after this 10-game homestand. There's 3 days off, and it's out in Quebec City, Quebec, Canada. And then after that, we're going for, I think, 8 days on the road to Winnipeg and to Fargo. So I'll pack plenty of clothes, and I'll be sure to write, and it'll be an interesting road trip. But I think this is the time when the JackHammers have to make their move. 10 games at home prior to that road trip. They have to kick it into gear. It's only a game out of first place. They got to get it going now.
All right. We will see you out there at the ballpark tonight.
All right, Mark. Thanks a lot.
Brian Dolgin. Well, Brian, congratulations. That was a big win to start off this series with a W.
It's a big win anytime we can get one, but against these guys it's good because they're right behind us in the standings. So
obviously you've come out of the chute here in the last couple of days. You'd scuffled for a while. What turned it around?
Just fixing a few little things, a few small mechanics with the swing. You know, every once in a while you do that and you find something you like, and it works for you. So.
Well, you started out with a triple and you got a base hit. Well, you're halfway home to the cycle, but you picked up an extra base hit.
Yeah, I just want to hit the ball hard every time I get up to bat. That's the goal.
Well, and again, obviously the top of this order, anytime you get on with the guys behind you, this team's going to be in business.
Yeah, those guys behind me, they know how to put the ball in play. They know how to hit it. So it's fun to get on base and let them do their job.
And it seems like this team has been a different team since the second half started.
Yeah, we're starting to hit the ball. You know, we've always got that pitching for us. We know that's been there. That's been the consistent thing for us. But the hitting has turned around, and that's what's brought us in the first place.
Well, that's got to think, especially with Mazone and obviously Hyde as well. You guys got to be ready because they throw a lot of grounders.
Yeah, they're going to go out there, and they're going to throw strikes. So you got to be ready to play D behind them. You got to be ready every pitch.
So what's the attitude of this team been since you got back to 0-0?
Coming out of the chute for the second half, our goal was to win each series. Approaching every series like that, winning 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4. That was our goal, and so far we're doing that.
Well, and this was a key homestand too for 10 games, and you're now about, I think you're 3 over 500 on the sand.
Yeah, it'd be great to finish up with a few more W's against these guys before we go up to Winnipeg and Fargo.
Well, 2-game lead. We talked about first place for a long time, and all of a sudden it was a game, and now it's 2. That sounds pretty good.
Oh yeah, spread it out even more. We'll work on that.
Now, when you slid into second base, did you twist a knee, or what happened there early in the game?
I jammed my ankle, turned that over, and my knee's been kind of bad for a while here, so it's just a combination of everything.
But you're all right now?
Yeah, I'll be all right.
All right. And then obviously you try to steal third base, and it's one of those, I think, if you're going to take off, you better make it.
Yeah, it's one of those where you got to do that. That was a mistake, but, we won the game. That was a good thing.
Hey, thanks a lot. Best of luck.
Thank you.
All right, Brian Sprout. Well, Hibby wanted to talk to you about this because pitching the last couple of nights is, first off for Ricky today, he must like Gary. He's beaten him 3 times now.
Yeah, there's probably something to that, too. I think certain pitchers like throwing against certain teams, and they feel comfortable when they face them. As far as looking at their lineup, hopefully he'll feel comfortable against Winnipeg his next start in Fargo. So, but those are 2 teams that kind of intimidate people a little bit. They have a little bit more powerful offense. And it really shouldn't. If he'll throw the game he threw tonight against him, he'll do pretty well.
And what it is about him, boy, he seems like it takes him a couple innings to get his bearings, and then he just mows him down. Yeah, he gets in a rhythm, it seems like. And, the more I don't talk to him, I just kind of leave him alone tonight. I didn't really say a whole lot to him, and he was struggling a little bit early and with his feel a little bit. And I think I asked him before the game what one thought he's got in his mind for tonight's game, and he actually gave me an answer, so that was good, that he actually thought of something he was going to try to work on. And one of the things he's trying to work on is establishing his fastball down in the zone early in the game, which is going to make his slider better late in the game. So he really did that, and it seemed like he got ahead of a lot of hitters, and they swung at a lot of pitches that helped him out. I'll say that. They swung a lot of high sliders that didn't break, and they ended up hitting them in play and getting themselves out. So, but that, he's throwing strikes, and that's what they have to do. But last night it was a situation where it seemed like Gary had men on base every inning, and we had to sweat it out, and that's how it started again today. I'm thinking, oh no. Yeah, when you're giving up a lot of hits or you're getting a lot of guys on base, whether it's by the walk or the hit, and making the errors, they've always got runners. Last night, we had guys in scoring position on third base with 2 outs 3 separate times in the first 5 innings, and fortunately we didn't give up a run. So, we just try to keep them off third as much as we can, or keep them off second, keep them out of scoring position, and and try to get the 3 outs before they start getting something going. And I think today we were real aggressive with the pitching more than we have been in the past. I believe his pitch count's probably a lot lower than it's usually been. He only threw 112, so usually he threw 112 and 5. So he actually did a better job tonight. And you just wanted to get Hammons an inning because it looked like Ricky could have closed. Yeah. That's Hammons' job. His job is to come in and save the game. I told Ricky if we'd have scored the 4th run, he could have gone out and tried to get the shutout. But when the save opportunities come up, that's Hammons' job, and we got to get him in the game for that situation. And Ricky gave us 8 strong, and that's his job. Well, and this was a huge win because after last night, you really needed this one. Yeah, we kind of gave that one away last night. I thought after last night when Watson came in and got us out of that inning, I felt like we were going to win that game. And we had our opportunities with bases loaded and 2 outs last night. We just didn't get the timely hit to get the lead because Hammons, I feel sure, would have come in and done a good job. So, yeah, we just need to come out tomorrow and win this series like we've done. We've won our last 4 series, I think, and I think that's what's got us in first place right now is we're winning series. We're not necessarily blowing guys out. We're just winning 2 out of 3 and 3 out of 4. And you got a veteran right fielder who's just crushing the ball right now.
He seems to be. I mean, and he's not just hitting fastballs. I mean, he had a good curveball tonight over the center field fence, and that just shows that he's seeing the ball pretty good. So hopefully he can keep it going until the Bubba Smith gets in our lineup, and that's going to really help some offensive pop for Winnipeg and Fargo because we're going to need it.
And again, one more thing about this ball game tonight. Eddie Fink behind the plate, a couple of big hits, and after not playing for a while, he came out and did a nice job today.
He's got a real good demeanor when he comes back behind the plate. He doesn't let he's not really whining because he's not playing. He's not really saying a whole lot. He's just really happy to get in the lineup when he does. We're looking at Eddie to maybe be our starting catcher next year, and we've already told him that. So he'll probably still be a rookie in this league, maybe for a year or two down the road, because he's not going to get enough at bats. So we'll see. But I'll tell you, Eddie's a real good kid, and he really listens well, and he works hard.
Thanks a lot. Big win.
Thanks.
All right, Greg Hibbard. All right, so you're off on the long road trip, and we send him off with a nice win for our team in the All-Star game, and Brian Mazone gets the start and gets the win. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's nice that Brian Mazone was selected for that game, and to go out there, especially the last year that he's had injury-wise, and being able to rehabilitate and come back. And I think it's just a true testament to his hard work and dedication that he's put into the game. And this is a big run here to come out of that last homestand with a 6-4 record, and then to have 3 days off. It is probably a big thing for this ball club, knowing that it's an 8-game trip with 4 at Winnipeg and 4 at Fargo over the next 8 days. But 2 places that the JackHammers have had success. So it's going to be we look to have good things happen on this trip.
And we talked about that with Matt Nokes before the All-Star break, was that now that the rotation's set up, so you've got basically back-to-back-to-back, Rich Hyde, then Brian Mazone, and then Ricky Lewis Jr., and that's going to be pretty tough for any team to beat.
It's very tough, especially when many consider that Rich Hyde should have been an All-Star, and that he could be an All-Star at any level. The way he pitches and has a top 10 earned run average in this league, and the way Ricky Lewis pitched his last time out, and many times in the past, this is a formidable combination. And really, I don't think anything tails off with Randy Goodrich either, because he's shown signs of brilliance as well in the number 4 spot in the rotation. So it's going to be a tough run for the teams that are going to be facing this ball club, especially since the batting's been coming around as well.
And we're also, speaking of batting, adding another pretty big stick.
A huge stick. Bubba Smith has been added to the roster, and Bubba is actually a former University of Illinois Fighting Illini, a teammate of Rich Hyde back in the late 80s, early 90s. And what he gives us is a solid first baseman, a guy who can come in and hit the home run ball. He's our big tonk around the ball club. He last played in the Mexican League with Monterrey, and that ended in late July that season. So through 106 games, he batted .322 and had almost 30 home runs and more than 80 runs batted in, and he was top 5 in home runs hit and runs batted in. So that's a big stick we added to the lineup, especially since when Ryan Sienko left with 18 home runs with him, we've been missing that big stick in the lineup. Yeah,
tell us some more about his past.
Well, Bubba also has played from single A to triple A in various organizations. Has never made it to the major leagues. I have no idea why, but he's put up great numbers in his career, and nearly 1,000 RBI in 12 seasons and more than 200 home runs. He's a big guy. I mean, he's listed at 6'2", 225, but I bet he's a little bit more than that. But he's also a good guy. I met him just yesterday or when he came into town, and he's going to add a lot of strength to this lineup, and it seems like his personality will also mesh quite well with all those on this team.
Now, does that mean is Matt Nokes going to still play, or does this mean he takes the place of Matt on the roster?
He takes the place of Matt on the roster. Matt goes back into the managerial role. There was talk, well, who do you take? Do you take Tony, put him in the coaching role, or do you take Matt and put him in the managing role? And we decided with the way Tony's swinging the bat, there's no way you could touch him with the way he's hitting the home run ball and hitting for average and all the great things that he's done for the team. So if need be, Matt's on the bench, and on the bench as in if a veteran does end up going somewhere, like if Rick Wilkins ended up leaving, or if something happened with Tony or anyone injury-wise, then you have Matt Nokes to bring off the bench, and that's a good guy to activate in a pinch.
No doubt about it. Well, gee, have fun on a long road trip, and we'll see you a week from Friday, I guess.
Oh, yeah, it'll be a blast. So we'll stop in St. Paul tonight, and then we'll be in Winnipeg tomorrow. So thank you very much. It'll be fun.
Right. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations. 6 in a row. The team's going great.
It's awesome. Finally, we're starting to put things together. Yesterday we won 1-0. Tonight we come out and we score a lot of runs. We're getting great pitching from Mazone, Hyde, Goodrich. I mean, everybody's throwing well. We're getting timely hitting. The acquisition of Bubba Smith is just huge for us. So, and now we got a big stick in the lineup. So, I think we're going to be okay.
So what happened once the second half? It was like somebody rang the bell and you guys decided to come out.
You know, the second half, you know, we just looked at it as, you know, we need to make the playoffs. We got to do the little things it's going to take to win it. And everybody, you know, after Ryan left, you know, it was a big stick in our lineup, and I think everybody just started contributing.
You had a big night tonight. You must have been seeing it well.
Yeah, I did. You know, I faced Clay Calvert a few times. He's one of my good friends, you know, and tonight, you know, he just kind of left the ball up a few times. You know, it was a strong wind blowing out the right. You know, that hurt him a little bit. So, I mean, he pitched well, and he's a competitor, and I'm sure he'll come back next time he throws and do well.
Well, you guys have got to feel with this rotation that you're going to be in every ballgame when it starts.
Yeah, I feel we are. I mean, it's almost like with you know, Mazone and Hyde, you know, it's almost like Johnson and Schilling. I mean, you feel like every time they have the ball, it's a guaranteed win.
Well, 10 games over 500 now, which is also a nice thing. In the first half, kind of flirting with the 500 all year, and now you're just sort of put it behind 10 games over.
You know, it's awesome. The only bad thing about it is that Lincoln won't lose. I mean, you know, they just keep winning along with us, and you know, one of these times, you know, they're gonna lose, and you know, we get ourselves a few game cushion. So in case we do hit a skid the next, you know, 13 games of the year for a little bit, you know, it won't hurt us.
No, the home fans haven't seen it quite yet in this homestand, but what has Bubba meant to this team?
I mean, he's a huge acquisition. I mean, I just think his presence in the lineup, people just don't want to pitch to him. And I mean, he went up to Winnipeg and Fargo, and I mean, he was just hitting stuff all over the place, and he hasn't played in 10 days. So it took him a while to get his timing back, but, you know, he fits right in on this team. He's a great guy. You know, he's been around, and he can hit.
Well, that and the fact you've got Hammons, who's on a hot streak, too.
I mean, everybody is just, you know, everybody's getting hot. I think it's contagious with the hitting and even with the pitching. I mean, everybody's just pitching well now, and we got awesome hitting going on right now, and it's really a nice thing. There's a different person every night to contribute. I mean, look at Brian Sprout. He had a rough night last night, and he comes back tonight and goes 4 for 5. And he's our table setter. So, I mean, for different people to do it every night, that's great.
Losing Chad Henry, how's that going to affect the team?
That's huge. I mean, he's a great defensive player, and he's a good hitter too. I mean, he's right out of college, and I mean, he fit right in like he's played pro ball before. And I mean, he's a great kid. He's a hard worker, and it's gonna be tough to replace him. But you know, we're just gonna have to find somebody to come in and do the job.
Hey, congratulations! Keep it going.
Thank you.
All right, Derek Kopacz. The post-Sienko era begins tonight, and obviously, you know, Rick Wilkins wasn't in the lineup either tonight, so both that's two big bats out of the lineup.
Sure. You know, there's no question whether Ryan Sienko will be missed here. You know, we are going to miss him, and he was a vital part of our offense. You know, he just was playing out, you know, excellent. So, you know, there's mixed emotions. You know, you want to play well as, you know, as a club, but we want, you know, what's best for him as an individual, because this is the minor leagues, and the goal is to, you know, players want to, you know, eventually play in the majors.
And before we get back to the game, just one more thing on Sienko. Obviously, they're sending him to high A ball, and I can't see how he's not going to tear that place up.
Well, the league that he's playing in is it's not really a hitter's league. There's a lot of really good arms in that league, and so he will, I believe, stand out among the group. You know, if you hit 280 in that league, you're one of the top hitters. So I have no question he'll play well, and he'll hit a lot more home runs than everybody, and so that'll be, you know, helpful for him. And what's really good about where he's going is he'll be able to go to an instruction league after the season, which is for all the young prospect players, and he needs that to get the exposure that he needs to the major league manager and the coaches and the general manager, Kenny Williams, and after that he has a very good shot at going to major league camp. He's basically one of the only catchers in the organization who has any power, so I think they'll probably want to see his power, and he hits the ball. When he hits it, it's like he's not even trying to hit, and he hits home runs.
So now you're going to put the catcher's equipment back on again here on occasion?
Oh my gosh! I mean, I can do it, and you know, I can play well, but it's kind of like quality of life, you know. I've been doing it for 21 years, and I can do it, and I can play well right now, but it's just a matter of, do I want to make the commitment and hurt my knees? You know, they'll swell up or whatever, but my arm feels good, but we'll have to wait and see on that. I like these younger guys, you know, behind the plate. Ed Fink is playing well.
How are you feeling at the plate as a hitter?
Oh, I feel good. Tonight I missed some pitches that were there, but, you know, I hit one ball hard, but, you know, I don't want to make excuses, so I'm not going to. Other than I got a root canal about 3 hours ago, so 3 hours before the game, but I'm just kidding. I mean, I did get a root canal, but that's no excuse.
Yes, it is. I've had them.
No, it's no excuse. It is no excuse. I was a little out of it, though, today.
So how are you going to get these guys cranked back up again? Obviously, it was nice to take the first 2 games of the series, but this one sort of knocks us down.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way you can look at it. We're just a little flat. It happens. I am concerned about it, though. You know, we need some more run production, so we're going to be doing what we need to get some more production out of our offense.
All right, thanks a lot. See you tomorrow.
Okay, sure. Thanks.
Matt Nokes. Well, Greg, it was a great battle tonight. We fell behind, got back even, and we just couldn't keep it going.
Yeah, you know, I thought Rich did a decent job after he gave up the 3 runs and came out in the 7th and really bowed his neck a little bit and gave us an inning and kept us in the game. You know, unfortunately, like I say, and you know, Doug came in and we got some players playing out of position that probably shouldn't be in some of the positions they're in. And you know, the ball in right field in the 9th, you know, possibly could have been caught. Would have changed the whole complex of that 9th inning. You know, with a man on second, nobody out, the hitters change their focus on what they do at the plate, and the out pitches aren't as effective when they're just trying to make contact and move a runner over. You know, but I think we've been playing pretty good ball, and we're just going to have to come back tomorrow and do a better job.
And Rich had the strikeout pitch working today, 11.
Yeah, you know, but yeah, it seems like he had a good strikeout pitch, but they still get him pretty good. You know, seemed like they were on his breaking ball pretty good again. We're going to have to find out what, you know, the approach of the game tonight and see if we can do something different against this team next time.
But it seems like the hits are a bunch of ground balls that just sort of found the right spot.
It seems like that. You know, the infield's a little faster. You know, we wanted a faster infield, and we're starting to give up some infield hits. And hopefully we can capitalize on some of them ground ball hits and try to focus our game on that a little more.
But you pretty much had to have Rich go 130 pitches because, you know, you had, 13 innings last night.
Yeah, our bullpen's a little scarce right now. You know, I do have Orga and Horn out there, but we feel like right now that this wasn't the kind of game to get them into. And like I said, you know, we've been on a pretty good run with playing pretty good baseball. We just got to quit making 3 errors a game and giving them extra outs. You know, I don't think we can do that as a team.
The one thing you can appreciate as a pitcher was Rick Wilkins again tonight. He made 3 perfect throws to second base, and his hitting's coming around too.
Yeah, you know, Wilkie's going to be strong behind the plate if we give him a chance to throw him out. If the pitcher can, you know, be quicker to the plate and they steal on us, I feel sure that he's going to throw out a lot of runners. And he had a real big one tonight with 1 out and man on first, and they stole him. We had a double play on the strikeout throw out, and that was a big part of the game too. So, you know, I think we just have to do a little more of everything. You know, we're not doing the fundamentals very well either right now as far as, you know, moving guys over and getting the ball on the ground to the right side and hitting running when we have to. And I think Lincoln's a team that does that a little more effectively than say some other teams in this league, and that's why they score 6 and 7 runs a game.
So with the 2 days off and 5 days, you're going to change the rotation around a little bit?
Yeah. What we already did with Mazone, he's coming back a day early. He's going to throw tomorrow. Come the All-Star break, we're going to try to look at the schedule and set the schedule up so that Rich and Mazone start more of the series than they do and not split them up as much and try to give ourselves a chance to win the second half.
All right, go get them tomorrow.
Thanks.
All right, Greg Hibbard. Well, Bubba, this was one that I thought after you hit your 3-run shot, we were going to come all the way back today.
Yeah, you know, I was kind of disappointed myself. I made kind of a bad play for Brent Franklin out there and gave him that 4th run, and it turned out to be a big run considering we come in tied. Hammons, you know, when he's down a run, it's a different atmosphere for him. When he's tied or up a run, you know, he seems like he's untouchable. So, you know, I gave us a chance to get back in it, but also I kind of put us out of it too. So I didn't take the good with the bad, and you know, I kind of got a little too aggressive on that ground ball. But you know, we're playing hard. We've had a chance to win every single game, even the ones we lost, except I think a game against Winnipeg. They came out and beat us up that 3rd game out there. So we can't ask for anything but a chance to win every time they come out. And our pitcher Goody tonight did a great game. I thought, you know, he had some bad luck, some bloop singles, and then when Brent came in, had an error and some bad plays, and it was a difference in the game.
Well, your first homestand here as a Jackhammer, and obviously you must like it here so far.
It is a nice ballpark, you know. It's to be honest with you, the 3 ballparks I've been to in this league are real nice. You know, they're you know, it's a good league. It's the pitchers, they throw hard. They got a little bit of an idea. It's a little bit scary. Some guys try to throw real hard, and you don't know if they're gonna hit you in the head. But you know, it's fun to be down here, and I'm trying to learn. You know, I'm still, even though I've been around for a while, I'm still trying to learn from Matt and Rick Wilkins and Hibbard and Tony Chance, some of the veterans on the team that I've known played just as long as me or longer, and just trying to get a little better every day.
What do you think of the mix of this team?
I think it's good. I think maybe we don't have the best offensive team in the league, but we have some guys that battle up there, and it's a different guy every night getting the big hit or doing big things. Fink came in since Chad left, and they've done a great job. Just hit the heck out of the ball, and Fisher and Wilkins and Tony Chance and Sprout and Kopacz and Pete DeYoung. Everybody has contributed some way or another, and even Paul, the new guy is short, and Al Quintana and L'Oreal. It just seems like everybody's contributing. They're not relying on one guy to do the job every night. And when you got a team like that, you wind up winning a lot of ball games.
You're trying to corner the market on Illini guys in this team now?
Hey, it's the Illini guys. Yeah, we had another one visit us last night. Rich Caparelli came by and visit us and stuff. So, that was part of the decision on coming up here was that I knew the area somewhat, playing at the University of Illinois, and of course Rich Hyde was there, and he's about one of the nicest men you could ever meet in your life, and it was just a good situation for me and my family in a good area, and it's been no regret so far. I've had a good time.
Last thing for you, it didn't take you long to get your stride. A couple games, and you started to figure this league out.
I don't think you ever figure a league out. I think I think the difference is with veteran players, with older players, they know that a lot of times you only get one pitch to hit, and you better hit it. And tonight the guy beat me through a good game. He didn't really, nobody hurt him until I hit that home run, and it's just one of those things that I think somebody said he's a reliever. I got a little tired out there. It looked like he started getting the ball up when Tony was up there, but the thing about hitting is when you get a pitch to hit, you got to hit it, because no matter what level you're at or where you're playing, you're not going to give me too many good pitches to hit. You got to just take advantage when you do, and too bad it wasn't one that put us ahead and give us a win, but it gave us a chance to get back in the ballgame.
And Lincoln won today, so I guess you have to wake up as a second-place team tomorrow. Have to get back at it.
Well, now Lincoln gets to feel like we do. Hopefully, every time they win, we win, or if they lose, we win. Or that was kind of at the same time. Sometimes that's good when you fall that half game back again, because now you got to refocus and get back to it. We played good baseball. We can't complain even about our losses. We've had a chance to win. So and tip your hats to Lincoln. They're playing just as good, and hopefully they hit a little wall and we both got tough games at the end of the season, tough series against Sioux Falls and Winnipeg. They got Winnipeg, so it's going to see who comes up with the big games at the end, it looks like.
All right, thanks, Bubba. Go get them.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Bubba Smith. Well, Matt, congratulations. That was a big win and a heck of a way to finish it, too.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. We're an excited team, having that, of course, you were aware of the joke with that Derek Kopacz, that thing you do, that song on there, that was hilarious. That just got everybody loose, and we're playing loose. We got a bunch of individuals here that are confident and playing as a team, and it's fun.
Well, we saw how important pitching is, because they had two outstanding pitching performances back-to-back. We had two better ones.
Well, our guys have just been consistent, we've had consistent offense and defense, and we're coming up with the big hits here and there, and like I said, we're just playing relaxed, and we're playing our game, and we go out there expecting to win. And each guy really has a routine, and they know what they got to do to get ready for each game, and that's what I've wanted them to figure out from the beginning of the year.
Well, and we know how valuable Fisher is as a defensive player in left field, and they have to run in that situation, but I think we all knew he was going to throw him out.
Yeah, he gets real pumped up. He, being young like that, he gets real excited and he threw it. It was almost kind of like the joke was that that's why he works on that. He's young, he gets a little excited. He misses his cutoff man occasionally, but that's the only situation in which missing the cutoff man would be okay. And kind of funny, but it was appropriate and great throw, and he has a great arm. He just has such a great arm. He really does. And harnessed as he matures, he's just a fantastic young player.
And again, Goodrich just had it all working today.
Well, we've been stretching him out a little bit longer. He was going 5 every time, and last outing went 6, and now into the 7th inning. So that's good. We're going to need that for the playoffs, because our bullpen is very light, and we've been counting on our starters a lot, so if our starters throw longer, it takes a lot of the pressure off, Franklin Hammons.
Well, and the best thing about
for that matter.
Yeah, and the best thing about our situation now, our destiny's in our hands. You win out, you go to the playoffs. It's just that simple.
The whole year has been that way, and I'm not satisfied with a wild card or anything like that. I want to win the division, and I maintain that. We all do. We all just it's in our hands, and we need to win. So.
All right, so you've got Ricky going tomorrow. You need a big ball game.
Well, Ricky threw really good last outing. It's just, you know, I mean, sometimes you stay with a guy a little bit longer. He's changed his mechanics a little bit and improved a lot. It's just I didn't want him to get hurt the last time out too bad. We ended up, you know, not winning that game, but it was one of those things where it kept him fresh for tomorrow.
Bubba Smith, my goodness, Bubba Smith. That was outside pitch, and he drilled it over the left field wall. He showed again how strong he is.
Bubba Smith, you know, I mean, just the name. I mean, everyone loves him. You know, he comes here and Bubba, you gotta love Bubba, and he comes up and he's already got 10 home runs. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, he's such a good hitter, and he's proven it over so many years. It's just a shame that a guy like that. I played in the big leagues for 10 years. I know what it takes to play there, and he's a Major League Baseball player. And he got fooled on that pitch and hit a line drive out that was a laser out of the ballpark. And it's exciting to have a guy like that on our team, and we're very fortunate to have him down the final stretch.
Congratulations. Best luck the rest of the way.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Matt Nokes, we knew it would be like this, but you've lived to fight another day.
I couldn't be more proud of a group of young men here, and I'm just ecstatic over how they're just so positive, and they've really come together with a lot of adversity, and they played their hearts out. They really did.
And we don't know what Fargo's done yet. The game's not over, but in a sense, it doesn't really matter. The destiny is still in your hands. You just got to keep winning.
We have to keep winning, and that's where we wanted it. We wanted a situation where that if we won, we didn't want to have to wait for someone else to lose. And like I said, everyone's done their job. They're doing the little things to help us win, and we kept positive. More than anything, I'll take these guys. I mean, their attitude and the camaraderie that we've had has been the key to our success.
Well, and you had Brian Mazone going today, and as usual, he was great.
Well, Brian's just pitched outstanding all year. He just broke the record now as the most wins in this league. 15 wins in this league. It's pretty amazing in a 90-game season with all the no decisions that you could possibly get. So I'm very, very proud of him, and he's on his way to the big leagues.
And again, you got to feel confident when you hand it over to Hammons in the ninth, too.
Well, that's why you go to your closer all the time, no matter what. That's why you give them roles. If you don't give them roles, what ends up happening is that they're not as comfortable with themselves, and when it comes right down to crunch time or a pennant race time, there's no thought, oh, should we give it to our closer here? Well, of course. I mean, he's been doing it. That's where he's comfortable, and that's why I do things the way I do.
And I tell you what, you made some outstanding defensive plays today too.
Well, guys are loose. I mean, defense is kind of something. If you're loose, you can play good, but. You guys, it's a tight team, and your hands get a little hard, and you don't quite know where the ball's going. But these guys are loose, and they know they're not going to get screamed at. We always, you talk to them. This is a learning experience for them. I know I didn't learn. I learned so much my first couple of years in the major leagues. It wasn't until then Sparky Anderson would just sit me down and talk to me after the game. I can't. I made every mistake you can make. But they talk to me afterwards, and that's how you learn.
And again, DeYoung, besides a great play at third, he gets the big hit for you.
Pete DeYoung is a postseason guy. That's why you have a guy like that on your team. He's a guy, he's a leader, he's a natural-born leader, and it couldn't have gone to a better guy. And I'm very proud of him. And he's kept a positive attitude. He's struggled a little bit here and there, but for the most part, he has been so valuable on our team and kept solid. He's got clutch hits. When we've needed it, he's gotten the clutch hit. When we've needed it, he always makes the play. He's so solid, in the field. So.
And again, congratulations. We don't know if you're playing tomorrow or Wednesday, but we know you're playing, and that's a good thing.
We know we're playing. Thank you very much, Mark.
Greg, I tell you what, it didn't end quite the way we wanted to, but still a heck of a year for this first-year ball club.
Yeah, I mean, we went through a lot this year. Had some good times, some bad times, and I think the guys have a lot of heart and got us as far as we did. We might have ran a little short right there at the end on some things. We went through a lot of tough games at the end of the year. Having to play the extra playoff game and such. I just think it was a tough road for us to go through, and unfortunately we didn't get the hits right when we needed them in certain situations in the playoffs. But I think the guys did a great job.
Well, in this ball game tonight, when you came back and tied it 3-3, I think we all thought you were going to win this game.
Yeah, that's a tough offensive team over there. They got a lot of speed and a lot of spunk in their lineup, and I think that a guy like Brian Mazone might have run out of gas a little bit right there. And I think the wind's kind of left the sails a little bit, and he felt like he let us down. And I don't think Brian needs to think that at all. I think he did a great job all year and got us to where we were. But, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how far Sioux City goes because there's some tough teams ahead of them.
And obviously, I mean, it looked to all of us like it was a small strike zone tonight, but I guess you just have to find a way, don't you?
Yeah, it did seem that way. You know, I think Bryan made 2 pitches in that on the walk that the bases loaded. It seemed to be close enough to be strikes. And you know, Wilkins is back there telling us that, you know, he's been calling pitches that weren't as close strikes, and now all of a sudden they're not. So I think that was kind of our situation as our hitters are seeing balls off the plate once in a while. And we've been getting it all year with this crew. For some reason, I don't know what the reasons might be, but when we get them all year like that, it seems like it just seemed to be festering as the year went on.
Had to be nice to come home, though, for this ball game and see a big crowd here tonight, and everybody was ready to go.
Yeah, you know, the fans all year have been great. I was real happy to get to the playoffs and give the fans here one more game back, and unfortunately we didn't give them more than one game, but it's been great all year. First year with the Joliet JackHammers has been outstanding, and I think there's good things to come.
Congratulations. Thanks for all the help this year, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Mark.
All right. Pitching coach Greg Hibbard. Well, Matty, congratulations. Great first year. You got to the playoffs. It just didn't end quite the way we wanted.
These guys really battled their hearts out. I'm real proud of them. It's just, you know, unfortunately, just, you know, lost 3 straight, but anything can happen in a short series. It happened to me in playoffs with the Tigers. I was excited, though. One thing I learned early on, whatever level you're at, that's the major leagues for you. And being my first season as a manager, I'm real excited, and I'm real proud of the job that these young players have played.
Just talked to Hibby, and I just said, you know, when we tied this game at 3-3, I really thought, you know, I think everybody thought this was going to be a W.
Yeah, it did seem like the momentum shifted over, but there are a lot of things that change things here. And I hate to say it, but you know, the umpiring in this league has certainly not matched the caliber of play in this league.
And that's certainly, I mean, obviously we didn't score enough runs to win, but I would say that the strike zone affected how the game went.
Well, if you can put a good hitter in a hitter's count, or a good hitter in a pitcher's count, it does change the outcome of the game. You know, if I'm hitting and I get a hitter's count, you get squeezed here. It does change the complexion. And after that one article that Peter DeYoung wrote, you know, critiquing the umpires a little bit, and I talked to the umpires and said, man, he's a young kid. He didn't mean anything by it. And he was just, you know, he said one thing, you got to forgive him over it, and it just went on and on and on, and they just you know, it was sad. It's kind of embarrassing a little bit, and the league needs to take note of that.
All right, so in Brian Mazone, it's also a shame in a sense that this was his last game of the year because, you know, obviously he deserves a better fate.
You know, he pitched fantastic. I mean that just shows you how good he's been throwing. I mean, he's been, in spite of you know, against all odds, he's been throwing real well, and all season coming back. I mean, this is a comeback year for him. And he did everything that he should have done, and I'm very, very proud of him.
But Brian Sprout really closed the playoffs on a high note.
He just got locked in real late in the season. He just got his swing where it was so short that it was like hitting soft toss. You know, I talked to him earlier, I go, swing feels short, huh? And he goes, yeah, it's just like hitting the ball like soft toss. When you get to a point where hitting is like underhand, you know you're locked in.
Hey, listen, we'll let you go. We'll talk to you, I'm sure, in the offseason. Congratulations on a great year, great job, and great to work with you this year.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mark.
Matt Nokes.